Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a total mystery: how our very own brains can be hijacked by a dangerous cognitive flaw. It's this invisible force that completely shapes what we believe, how we act, and how we view the entire world around us. So let's jump right into the scene of the crime by asking a wild question. Can a complete, absolute lie successfully disguise itself as the truth? Well, buckle up, because the unsettling answer from our source material is a massive yes. And honestly, it happens way faster than you'd ever think. All right, let's kick things off with part one: the truth about truth and how we actually interpret reality. To really solve this mystery, we've got to understand a foundational problem laid out in our source material, 12 Steps to a Good Life. See, your mind isn't a perfect video camera recording reality. It's more like a storyteller, constantly guessing and filling in the blanks to make sense of the world. And that creates a massive vulnerability. We start mixing up objective truth, the hard, observable facts and evidence that exist whether we believe in them or not, with constructed truth. And constructed truth, that's just what society and culture repeat as norms. Because our brains literally crave shortcuts, we end up confusing this constructed narrative with actual objective reality. Moving right along to section 2, the illusory truth effect. So here's the culprit behind this cognitive crime. It's a specific, highly dangerous logical fallacy called the illusory truth effect. It's this wild psychological phenomenon where people are way more likely to believe false information is entirely true simply because they've encountered it over and over again. Your brain is literally tricked by mere familiarity. It mistakes a repetitive signal for actual validity. It totally exploits that mental shortcut we just talked about, taking a constructed lie and making it feel incredibly real. And there's this chilling historical quote that perfectly anchors just how dangerous this bias is. It's attributed to the Nazi minister of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, who stated, "If you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it, and you will even come to believe it yourself." It's heavy, right? But it shows exactly how deceptive individuals throughout history have sought to manipulate your definitions of truth by weaponizing repetition. Which brings us to section 3, how repetition hacks reality. Because hey, this isn't just ancient history, it is a prominent feature of our modern information age. You are constantly bombarded by this illusion in action. We're talking false claims repeated endlessly on 24-hour news cycles, misleading information bombarding us in targeted ads, and maybe worst of all, these intense echo chambers of falsehoods circulating on social media. All of this repetition completely clouds your judgment, bypassing your critical thinking entirely. Consider this your warning to stay extremely vigilant against this subtle, brainwashing influence in the media and even in your own social circles. Ultimately, deceptive repetition turns the illusion of truth right into your reality. It is a subtle, creeping influence that sneaks into your mind over time. Basically, once an idea is repeated enough times, your brain's critical thinking just shuts down. You stop asking, wait, is this actually true? And you just start assuming that it is. Okay, so how do we fight back? Let's get into section 4, defending your mind. Fortunately, the source text doesn't leave us hanging. It hands us a practical toolkit so we don't have to be passive victims of our brain's automatic shortcuts. Your absolute first line of defense: actively seeking diverse sources of information to disrupt that repetition-induced bias. You've got to train your mind to constantly question its own assumptions, critically evaluate claims, and fact-check familiar narratives using reliable data. Bottom line, you have to actively disrupt the familiarity to break the spell. To help you stop reacting on autopilot, the author suggests something called the radar technique. It goes like this. First, reflect. You want to create a crucial pause between what you're feeling and what you're doing. Next, describe. Take a step back to objectively assess the actual facts, separating them from all the noise. And only then do you respond. You choose intelligently how to engage, instead of just blindly accepting some familiar narrative. You also absolutely must guard against what the author calls magical thinking. This is that tempting belief that simply wishing for something or repeating a thought somehow magically changes reality. Trust me, that only leads to deception and disappointment. To really combat the illusory truth effect, we've got to shift our mindset over to scientific and evidence-based thinking. This grounds you in observable evidence, it uses real-world logic, and ultimately, it empowers practical, reality-based change. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really provocative thought to investigate in your own life. What repeated truth that you currently hold dear is actually just a familiar lie? Seriously, think about it. Take a hard look at your beliefs, apply that radar technique, and make absolutely sure that the reality you're living in is built on facts, not just familiarity.